Hey everybody, so today we're going to take a break from the stage tutorials and we're going to focus on a mixing tutorial this time, and this is on mid-side EQ. What is mid-side EQ? Well, it's very simple. Mid and side are two different aspects of your song. Mid basically means all the mono signal, when both of the speakers are doing exactly the same thing at the same time. The side information is stereo information, or what one speaker is doing that's different than the other, okay? So what I have here is I have what I would consider a relatively crappy mix. And we're going to use mid-side EQ to clean this mix up. Let's go ahead and listen to what it sounds like. So mid-side EQ is powerful, and inside of Live you actually have mid-side EQ functionality in EQ8. So I'm going to take an EQ8 and drop it in the master track. Now, it might not be immediately obvious, but the way you access the mid-side processing is you go down to this mode area, you click on this drop-down menu, and you get L/R, which is for equalizing left and right channel, and then you get mid-side, okay? And then the way that you can switch between editing the mid or the side is just by clicking this button. So right now we're going to focus on the side. Listen to this mix again. So this mix is going to suffer from a common problem that I hear in venues a lot, especially with younger, new producers that don't really know how to prepare their music for the live show. What's going to happen is this choir pad right here, this guy, it's going to sound like one note. If that. It's low, it's muddy, it doesn't have that much harmonic content, and so because of that, it's going to get buried in the venue. All you're going to hear is blah, 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 blah. So let's talk about how we can fix that. What I hear is there's a lot of low-mid energy in this mix. I mean, and that's a common thing in almost all mixes, is that it's very difficult to dial in the low mids in any mix. But, you know, my process in fixing this is I would identify the frequencies that are kind of driving me nuts. And you can do that with EQ8 also by clicking on this little headphone, okay? When I click on this headphone and I'm clicking on one of these bands, it'll actually isolate those frequencies. So let's try to figure out what frequencies we don't like in this mix. There we go. Right around 200 is what I don't like. That's that mud, that stereo mud, because we're working with the side channel, remember, we're working with just the stereo information, that mud in the mix. So listen to what happens when I remove a really drastic amount of this, about 7 decibels. Now I can hear some more articulation starting. Now, this isn't enough, though. What I've also noticed is you might say, well, Anthony, now I used to hear this nice big stereo image of that pad, and I really liked the way that sounded. So part of the process to mid-side EQ is if you're going to remove something, you're going to gut a mix like this, you definitely want to add those harmonics back in somewhere else, higher up on the frequency spectrum. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just have a broadband boost. I'm just going to change... Let's actually take this over here. We're going to take number 6 out, and I'm going to turn this band into a low-high or a high shelf. Okay, so that means I can turn up the highs or turn down the highs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compensate for the stereo information that I lost down low and actually add it back into the mix a little higher, because I feel like this whole track is a little dark. And what I can do is, remember, I'm only messing with the stereo information, not the mid information. So let's go ahead and listen to what this sounds like when I add, I don't know, about 3 decibels, maybe 4 of high information here. And now I'm making drastic moves because I really want you to hear these. All right, let's check it out. So right away, man, I really hear everything just kind of pop out at me. I can hear the articulation. There's more depth to the mix. Let's go ahead and A/B this. Okay, so now you can see that we have this power going on. So that's my side channel. Another thing that you'll find is pretty common is, speakers work really, really hard to make low end. If both of your speakers aren't firing at the same time in the very low, it's just going to end up being muddy. Bass travels through walls, travels through all kinds of stuff. If your speakers aren't firing at the exact same time in your low end, it's just going to make a muddy mix. So it's very simple. Just add a low shelf to your side channel, and unless there's really, really, really important information, low end happening in your mix that's deep, especially in the sub level, just take it out. It doesn't need to be there. So I'm actually going to just pull this down a little bit, and now we're going to kind of just get as you can see, we've got kind of a flat line going right here. A lot of that stereo information that was down there earlier is going to be out of the mix, and we've added that harmonic content, if there is harmonic content to the track and each individual sound, we've added it back in here. Okay, so this is before and this is after. Before, after. Okay, and now let's take it a step further. What I can also do is in the mid channel, I can mess with the mid channel and not the side channel. So let's listen to some of the things. Something that I've noticed is that the drums are totally monaural. So in the drum track, there's no panning at all. It's right down the center, so I can mess with this separately. So I actually want some of that 200 hertz, just a little bit, just a little boost there, give me a little more meat. That sounds cool. Another thing I could do is I could add some of that crystalline air around, I don't know, let's say 13 and change. I'm gonna just add the Q and just make this kind of like one of those. I'm gonna turn this back into a bell curve, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of brightness here. And remember, I'm using my headphones so I can just find that section. Where's that air at? There it is. I like that. Maybe just a little bit lower. Around 14. Okay, so I've made a couple adjustments to the mid and I've made a couple adjustments to the side. So let's go ahead and listen at this is our end result. And now I'm going to turn it on. Might just be a little bit too much brightness there. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, you can really, really, really make a dent in your mix and make it sound a lot better just by doing some really, really simple mid-side EQing. So that's pretty much it, everybody. Just a quick crash course in mid-side EQ. If you got some benefit from this lesson, consider pushing the subscribe button. And if you'd like to support the channel, there's a Patreon link at the bottom, complete with mentorship options with yours truly. But anyway, much love to everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.